Imagine an architectural world dominated by the soaring, vertical, and almost supernatural complexity of Gothic cathedrals. Now, imagine a group of 15th-century Florentine intellectuals and artists looking back 1,000 years and saying, "No, we've lost our way. The true path to beauty lies not in reaching for the heavens, but in the perfect harmony, rational geometry, and human scale order of ancient Rome." This was the Big Bang of Renaissance architecture. It was a conscious, intellectual revolution that used the ruins of Rome as a textbook to create a new, profoundly influential style. But how did they physically achieve this rebirth? What were the rules they followed? And who were the geniuses who turned these ideas into stone and mortar? In this video, we're journeying to Florence and beyond to uncover the principles of Renaissance architecture. We'll explore the groundbreaking engineering of its domes, the mathematical obsession with proportion, and the timeless treatises that codified a new language for building. By the end, you'll see Renaissance buildings not just as beautiful structures, but as manifestos for a new way of seeing the world, one centered on human reason and classical ideal. The catalyst for this revolution was the rediscovery of a single ancient text, Vitruvius's De Architecture. This Roman architectural manual, found in a monastery library in 1414, provided the theoretical foundation. It emphasized principles like symmetry, proportion, and imitation of nature, concepts that resonated deeply with the humanist thinkers of the day. The first great pioneer to put these ideas into practice was Filippo Brunelleschi. His moment of triumph was the construction of the dome of the Florence Cathedral Santa Maria del Fiore. The problem was immense, spanning a 45-meter wide hole that had been left in the roof for over a century. The Gothic solution of flying buttresses was stylistically unacceptable. Brunelleschi's genius was to look to the Roman Pantheon for inspiration. He engineered a double-shelled dome, using a herringbone brick pattern that supported itself as it rose, and a revolutionary system of stone and iron chains to contain the outward thrust. This was not just a technical marvel, it was a symbolic one, a declaration that Florence was the new Rome. Brunelleschi and his contemporaries established a new architectural vocabulary based on a strict revival of classical orders and elements. They moved away from the pointed arches and ribbed vaults of Gothic style, embracing instead the round Roman arch, the post and lintel system, and the simple, geometric forms of the cube, sphere, and cylinder. Facades became symmetrical and horizontally composed, using a clear hierarchy of elements like those found in the Colosseum: Doric on the ground floor, Ionic above, and Corinthian on the top level. A key feature was the use of the rusticated stone wall roof and finished stone at the ground level, giving way to smooth, refined ashlar masonry above, symbolizing the move from the earthly to the ideal. A pro tip for identifying Renaissance architecture is to look for this deliberate and scholarly application of the orders, a stark contrast to their more creative and less rigid use in later periods like the Baroque. While Brunelleschi was the engineer, Leon Battista Alberti was the theorist. His book, De Re Edificatoria, was the first modern architectural treatise and became the Renaissance Bible for architects. He translated Vitruvian principles into a coherent system, famously coining the idea that a building should exhibit formitas, utilitas, venusta's strength, utility, and delight. He designed churches like Sant'Andrea in Mantua, where the facade is a monumental triumphal arch, fusing ancient Roman civic architecture with a Christian church. This period, the High Renaissance, saw the center of innovation shift to Rome, where the ultimate fusion of classical form and monumental scale was achieved. Donato Bramante Tempietto, a small martyrium in Rome, is the quintessential High Renaissance building, a perfect, centralized plan of a cylinder within a circle, embodying the ideal geometric harmony so cherished by the era. No discussion of the Renaissance is complete without Andrea Palladio, working in and around Venice in the 16th century. Palladio took the principles of the Renaissance and refined them into an architecture of serene, mathematical perfection. His four books of architecture became one of the most influential architectural pattern books in history, especially in England and America. Palladio's genius lay in his mastery of proportion. He used simple, harmonic ratios like 1:1, 1:2, 223 to dictate the relationships between a room's width, length, and height. His villas in the Veneto countryside, like the Villa Rotonda, are masterpieces of symmetrical planning, often featuring a central domed rotunda and a classical temple front portico. This Palladian style, with its focus on balance, axiality, and the integration of the building with its landscape, defined the ideal country house for centuries. To summarize the key takeaways: 1. Renaissance architecture was a conscious rebirth of Roman principles, driven by humanism and the rediscovery of Vitruvius. 2. It championed symmetry, proportion, and geometry as the path to beauty, rejecting Gothic complexity. 3. Its pioneers were figures like Brunelleschi the engineer, Alberti the theorist, and Palladio the perfecter. And 4. Its legacy is the creation of an enduring classical language that defined Western architecture for centuries and continues to inspire us today. Now I want to hear from you. In the comments below, which Renaissance building or principle do you find most compelling? Is it the sheer audacity of Brunelleschi's dome, the perfect geometry of Palladio's villas, or the powerful idea that beauty can be achieved through mathematical rules? Your perspective enriches our understanding. If this journey through the Renaissance has inspired you, please give this video a like and subscribe to Smithage for more content that explores the pivotal moments in architectural history.